I understand very well that these companies, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, all these companies lie to the customers. They're trying to do their best to, get us to buy into their product, and then it's kind of like a big screw you. But the interesting thing is, it's so more noticeable when Microsoft does it, because they have this long record of talking to people, especially with the Xbox One, because they were doing so much damage control. So they were saying a lot of different things. I mean, it was funny because yesterday on X, somebody mentioned to me, why is everybody dunking on, Microsoft and trying to make it sound like, they promised only 4 games. And, the interesting part about that is, for me anywhere, it's kind of crazy. So this is an interaction I had. Somebody said, I see many lunatics using the only 4 games argument against Microsoft, debunking of the end of Xbox hardware to prove that they're not trustworthy. False, because the 4 games was a test and they never ruled out more. It was stated in February 2024. Learn to read, please. Because this was a response to something that I put, because their boss was talking about how they love hardware and they're going to do more hardware, and people don't believe it. I'm not the only one that says, they say a lot of things. The problem with that line of questioning and thinking is that Phil Spencer's entire quote was actually a little bit more detailed than this, and I got no response, right? It was crickets. This is what he said. This is his quote, exactly. Quote, "We're going to take the 4 games to the other consoles, just 4 games, not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy." So he said not a change to their fundamental exclusive strategy. This is a direct quote. Now, they were already making the Halo campaign and other games for PlayStation. So they sat up there and lied. There's a ton of other ones too. Phil Spencer, 2021. If you're an Xbox customer, the thing I want you to know is this is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists, and that's our goal. Talking about exclusivity from Bethesda Games, 11/3/2021. There's a million other quotes out there where Microsoft, has lied, and they've been caught lying. So I don't know why people try to, sugarcoat it or cover it for them. And you know what? Xbox's president, Sarah Bond, continues to lie to the fans. And I think that's the part that really kind of upsets me, is that, have you ever been in your life where someone was lying to you and you knew that they were lying, and and they maybe even know that they're lying, but they're still continuing on with the lie? I'm not saying that Microsoft isn't going to do something with hardware in the future, right? But when looking at what's going on with Microsoft, and when they're sitting there talking about how important hardware is for them, it's a flat out lie. So look, Microsoft's Xbox brand is 100% stressed. I don't care who you are, you have to believe that, whether it's layoffs, price hikes, hardware declines, or retreat from community engagement, Xbox hasn't been in a good place for many years. The breakneck pace of Xbox strategy changes post-pandemic have led to confusion and doubt about the platform's future, at most among its core audience. Microsoft's been speaking up about Xbox's future recently because they're trying to alleviate some of the flames, but increasingly via mainstream media channels, kind of eschewing its old strategies of engaging with the community directly. Before, Microsoft used to talk, they'd hop on podcasts or Twitter or whatever, and they'd interact with people. They're not doing that stuff anymore, right? Now they're just like softball questions from people. So Xbox President Sarah Bond was speaking and offered some hints about the trajectory about Xbox in the future. And this is what she said. Xbox is really all about making it easy for people to access and play their games. We know that's what players care about. And so all of this innovation, all the things that are happening in the industry, they're being harnessed to enable that more easily and more accessible for customers than ever before. All of these things are potential disruptions if you look at it any other way. Say, hey, I want to actually keep up with the status quo, but they're actually things that the player really wants. They're true unlocks. Sarah admitted that changing the status quo at Xbox has been hard as the firm shifts away from hardware-focused to multi-platform gaming. She said, and I quote, "Xbox is a brand that people have counted on now for almost 25 years. We're coming up on the 25-year anniversary, and people who play Xbox love Xbox. Our players care deeply about what Xbox is. It has a ton of meaning to them, and so changing it is hard. There are things coming in the future that you need to invest in to help ensure the long-term health and growth of the brand. But you also know there are players who really love what Xbox is right now. We relentlessly look at the core mechanics of health in the business, how many people are playing, what our hours of play are, what people are buying, and what people are subscribing to. Listening to both what people say and how they behave is how we continuously make changes, adjust, and learn along the way. But perhaps the biggest question mark over Xbox's future revolves around whether or not the firm will actually continue to care about hardware, because every single quarter since the pandemic, Xbox has reported relentless hardware sales declines as stock availability sinks and marketing presence dries up. Prices have also gone up, and with Microsoft putting its games on other platforms, the conventional wisdom would ask, why bother with first-party hardware? Sarah Bond says hardware is core to Xbox, and their most valuable players remain within the Xbox ecosystem, saying, and I quote, "Hardware is absolutely core to everything that we do at Xbox, because we know that our most valuable players, the people who love Xbox, love the hardware experience. This is why we are working on our next generation hardware. It's going to be a powerful experience, and one that also enables people to take their library with them." What's really important here is that while people want to play their library on the console, they also want to be able to play it on PC or stream it through the cloud. Now, here's the problem that I have with that, right? Who are these people, right? And I know, like, there's going to be some in the comments, or I see someone extra, like, well, me. I don't know any, like, if you're a PC gamer, you're a PC gamer, right? Like, the Steam Deck kind of proved this. So if you're a PC gamer, you play on your PC, but you could have bought a Steam Deck if you really wanted to play something on the go, yet only 3.5 million people bought one, right? Same thing with cloud. Hardly anybody uses cloud. There's no, like, successful cloud iteration. I don't ever see anybody clamoring, or I've never heard anybody clamor and say, man, I can't wait to play the cloud. You know, like, I wish we had more cloud stuff. You know, I've never heard anybody say that. The other thing is claiming that, you know, hardware is core and they love and value the players. Guess what? Literally, Xbox has gone on record and has multiple times. I mean, look, I mean, you can sit there and say, hey, we care about this or we care about that, but let's just be honest here. Their whole strategy is this is an Xbox. Anything's an Xbox. This stupid Xboxer guy, you know, basically holding a controller. This is an Xbox. That's an Xbox. You know, despite the fact, and she says that they're listening. Well, when you look at that commercial with some old guy being an Xboxer or whatever, and there's thousands and thousands of dislikes and hardly any likes on it. And Microsoft themselves have said repeatedly, you don't need to buy an Xbox, and then people aren't buying an Xbox. So how can they sit there on their high horse and claim that they care about the fans or whatever when their entire strategy is anything but an Xbox? To me, it's utterly ridiculous. The lies are becoming more and more noticeable, right? How can you? We certainly do care about hardware. This is an Xbox. Your TV is an Xbox. Your phone's an Xbox. Your smart refrigerator's an Xbox. Like, how can you? Those two things. You know, what is the sale? What is the sales pitch of an Xbox? Right? Like, I think that's the really, really bad thing. So according to this, the report, the next Xbox will essentially be a PC with a compatibility layer for your existing console library of games. You know, we'll see how that kind of works out, because Windows has been pretty bad. But Microsoft is clearly betting on cloud gaming and PC to open up the platform. But again, those things haven't been, like, PC gamers go with Steam, and cloud gamers, do they even exist? I mean, that's crazy. You know what I mean? I honestly am not sure if that actually exists. So we'll see. So anyway, Xbox PC has usability gaps, missing social features that need to be addressed, and cloud gaming is heavily situational in many cases. Sarah Bond says that the firm listens to feedback from fans, but it's not always apparent to be the case. I'm not sure any fan asked for Xbox to have no exclusive content, nor did they ask for a 50% price hike on Game Pass. Skepticism over the brand has been thoroughly earned, but, you know, again, it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of turn it around, or anybody, because like, Xbox has no unique selling point. I guess Microsoft is hoping that Play Anywhere can be its big thing. But in a world where Halo is headed to PlayStation, Xbox fans no longer have anything strong or tangible to point to as a unique value proposition, and it's doubly true if you aren't interested like me, if you're not interested in cloud gaming or play anywhere. Microsoft is obviously betting on those things, but I've said this multiple times. Cloud gaming and play anywhere mean absolutely dick to me. I would never game on a PC. I would never game cloud. The people that buy the games on PC play it on PC. The people that buy them on console play them on console. Like, this stuff, they clearly aren't listening to the fans and are caught in more lies. Like, I don't understand this at all. And, you know, again, the double down on this stuff just is really weird. It seems like they're trying to say, to me anywhere, they're saying that here's what our data tells us, and here's what we want gamers to want. We want gamers to want what we're doing, and we bought the biggest properties in the world to ensure it just kind of happens, regardless of how unpopular it is with our core fans, right? So they're not really listening to the fans, and it's kind of ridiculous that people would even assume that they are, or try to, like, damage control for them. Anyway, you know, ridiculous. I'll link this. You guys can let me know what you think. Rack 'em up. Crab Gamer out.